Hi friends, I'm Penny Hunt and this is Penny Heart to Heart. I wanted to pop on here today really quick like I always do and talk about my latest writing that I posted this weekend called The Writing on the Wall. I always like to do these heart to hearts and talk to you about what I write and why I write it and where it came from in my mind and in my world, and just to elaborate a little bit more and give you some kind of behind the scenes of my writing that you don't get from seeing it on my blog. If you haven't read it yet, the link is with this video. You can read it on my blog. You may have seen it in a newspaper this weekend. But anyway, it's called The Writing on the Wall. And I started to think about, during this time where we've all been home so much, I've watched a lot of home HGTV type remodeling shows. I really love them, actually. And I have noticed that on these shows, so many of the houses that they spotlight have words as art. A big eat sign is hanging in the kitchen. Or I saw one a couple days ago that had an exit sign over their door. Now, we've all seen those in businesses, but I'd never seen that in a home, an exit sign over the door. So I thought that was a little unusual. But all of these signs, and as I started thinking about it and writing about it, I remembered years ago, I actually decaled, or I might have painted because I'm a painter, the words love, laugh, live. And love, what was it? Love, learn, and laugh. You know the words. And I remember being teased about it by my family because they said, do you really need to learn to have a sign that tells you to laugh and to learn and to love? That's what it was, laugh, learn, and love. Or isn't that something we just do? Why do we have to have that written on our wall? Well, I loved it. I thought it was a great thing to see every day to remind us of those things that we need to do every day. But I got teased a lot about it. Anyway, that maybe was the beginning of this using words as art when that phrase was so popular and still is. And I put that on my wall. Now, as I start writing about it and kind of, talking about these home decorating shows and how they use this and how some of the homes have so many words that they cover the walls, they cover the tabletops, they cover everything. And they're posters and paintings and wooden and metal words. And sometimes it kind of feels like you're walking through a self-help book in your home because there's so many words telling you what to do and what to feel. And do we need words to tell us what to do and what to feel? That was kind of the concept of my writing. As I was writing it, I looked around my office where I sit to write, and I disclosed that I have words in my office. I have copper words that say believe and love and grace on my bookshelves that intermingle with my books as if they're jumping out of the book to tell me, pay attention to these words. I also have a wall in my home that is our family photo wall, and in the middle of it is a sign that says family. And I don't know, maybe do I need that word family to let me know that these are people I love? I don't know, but it's there. So this is what I wrote about, and I had it about halfway done, and I had some errands to run. So I went around town running my errands, and as I looked at buildings and parks and things, I started to think, what if when we see something, we don't label it with what it's called, like a bank is called a bank, or a church is called a church. But what if when we see something, we think of a word that has meaning behind it? Not just the name of the object or the building. So I started playing this game as I drove around town, and I saw a church and thought, what if we thought of the word blessing when we see a church instead of just hearing the word church? And blessing, and talk about bringing that to mind about how we're grateful for what we have. What if we looked at a police station or a fire station and thought of the word safety, because the folks that work there are the first responders that keep us safe. And what if we look at a hospital, and instead of thinking of a hospital, we think of health? And so I played this game with myself all day long. I got home and I ate lunch and I had an orange for lunch and I thought, well, this is kind of healthy. So what if I look at this orange, instead of saying the word orange in my mind, I think of health. Or I'm not a great water drinker. I have to make myself drink water. But what if we associated water with hydration and something that our body needs to stay alive? And so I started playing this game of associating words with things and associating words with places. And instead of just the label that we give it. When you hear a baby cry, and maybe you're past the baby stage or you're not into babies and it's kind of an irritating sound, but what if it brought to mind life? That if a baby's crying, that's a new life that's joining us in this world. Or different noises that we hear, different tastes and what that means to us. So that is why I wrote it. It really wasn't discounting words, because I admit it, I've got them all over my house too. I think it's just a thing now. But when did that start happening? And what if we maybe do need it? Maybe we do need some reminders. When I speak, I often hand out my good enough card and tell you to put it on your bathroom mirror, on your visor of your car, put it somewhere where you see it. So oftentimes I encourage this. I also talk in the writing about how I believe that there are word people and number people. Word people and number people. And I am definitely a word person. I'm a writer. So my whole world is puzzling words together in interesting ways and describing things. I talked about how I'm into numerology. I really am. I add up numbers all the time. I think numbers that come into my life have meaning. The number 13 is always in my life. Good and bad things happen on the 13th. Most of the homes I've lived in have a 13 in the address, or they add to 13, so I do that. But for the most part, I find words much more interesting than numbers. And I know there's people that are just the opposite. They find numbers more interesting than words. So I talk about whether you're a word person or a number person. And for example, I maybe wouldn't be able to tell you the year that something happened, but it doesn't mean I don't remember the event. I can describe it in detail. I can puzzle those words together with colors and feelings and emotions so that I can tell you exactly when it was, what had happened, what the air smelled like. But I might not know the date. So there are word people and number people. So the writing on the wall, I ended with, if we started looking at things instead of with just a label that society and the world has given it, like that building is a church, and think about that building brings to mind blessings and what we are grateful for. If we started thinking that way, playing that little game with words, that maybe we would all learn, laugh, and love more without having it written on our wall to remind us, that it would come naturally. That is what my writing is about. I so encourage you to read it. Again, the link is with this video. You can find it, and that will take you to my website. You can find it on this Facebook page. And like I said, you may have read it in a newspaper over the weekend. But that is why I wrote it. I love words. I love the way words feel coming out of my mouth. I am definitely a words person. So read Writing on the Wall. I would also really love it if you shared with me what words you have in your home. What words are meaningful to you? I know I've gotten a few emails from people that sent me pictures of the words they have on their home and why, and what it meant. Maybe it was something they inherited, or it was a family member that's no longer there, and this is what this word meant, and this is why I put it there. So there's a lot of reasons we surround ourselves with words. I thank you for joining me for these few minutes, and I encourage you to read my writing. I hope you join me next time when I pop in with another Pennie Heart to Heart. And this is Pennie Heart to Heart. I'm Pennie Hunt, and thanks for watching.